Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 hour to make the best game ever. Good. So, yeah. So what do we do now? I just made some posts here in this topic again. The no-brainer balance change discussion. So it looks like to me that right now they want to establish a committee, which Antipro already suggested a couple months ago. And I think I also suggested this and many others as well. The committee to like make decisions on change proposals. And according to Dominator, he wants to like curate a list and, just put reasonable people in there that he thinks are reasonable in there. The issue I have, I mean, in principle, it's not bad, but the problem with this list is that, which I also wrote in a post below, that it's unelected, right? So like there was no democratic process to create this committee that then makes changes that then forms like the baseline of the project that that most players will then play with, right? So I mean I think it's not bad because you get like competent people that make decisions, and that probably covers like the bulk of community. But there's always a doubt, like like these people were not elected, like why, like what how do we say in English, what promotes them to take this role? Like why can they take this leadership, and why not somebody else? Like who put them into this role? Like they just self-elected, right? It's like if you have like a country, and then there's some military group, and that military group has some leadership structure, and then they decide, yeah, this leadership structure of this military group now takes leadership of this country. There's no election, it just happens, and then they will rule the country to what they think is correct. But there was no democratic process to actually get these elected. So there's no backing. Like the people, they didn't vote for this directly. So there's always a doubt of, okay, is this legitimate? Do they really represent all the people, right? And so that's the issue that this kind of proposal has. And so I think it would be good if we actually had like like a normal democratic election of any democratic country. You have candidates who come up who say, I want to do this and that. They put up their name for election, and then you have a poll, and then everyone elects for one or multiple candidates, and then out of these the committee is chosen, and then that one has specific tasks and responsibilities and powers to then do the work that they're supposed to do, right? So this then also, like with the curated list, another point is that if maybe you put in people in here that don't have like a high interest. Like let's say, I don't know, one of these guys here doesn't actually have a big interest in this, and he's just like clicking on some things or reviewing some things, but he's not like super involved in this. And maybe he will leave in a year, and so maybe there could be another candidate that is better suited, but he never had a chance to actually signal his interest and to put himself up for election, right? So it's just like picking some people. Like I don't know who Ninja is, I don't know who Habash is, I don't know who Jezza is. Like I've never seen them. I couldn't tell. Like other names, yeah, you see Dusty Rhodes and Dominator and Fargo. But then, you know, I think like there needs to be some accountability, and like the community should be able to vote on what candidates they like. And then maybe there could be like a re-election as well after some cycle, and then, you know, people could change their mind and elect someone else, like a, you know, like any other regular democratic process, fair and square. And then this also gives it more weight. Like, you know, if you look at the result of these people voting, then, you know, it would be the best that we have, right? But it could be better, you know, if these actually had the backing of the community by a democratic process, right? Because then there's like you can't argue against this. Like, you know, if you then disagree with what the committee decides on, you can't really argue against it because they were fairly elected. Whereas if they make a decision, they were unelected, and like a large portion of community is unhappy with that decision that the committee took, then, you know, there's no fairness. Like, these people are not accountable, right? But if they were up for re-election, then they're accountable, right? So yeah, I think democratic process would be good instead of just picking a list. But in the end, I think that's also like a decision that people have to derive first, right? It's like no one can enforce like a democratic process. It has to be established first. And I know in many places, democracies never come to fruition because some people will always hold on to power. I mean, you see this worldwide, right? In any dictatorship, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, either it will be dictatorship with like a, you know, partly democratic process, you know, where some people can vote here. But yeah, I think it would be better if it was backed by whole community. Everyone had like a say in the initial vote. Anyone could be, you know, put himself up for like a candidate if he was interested. And I think it's also better if people like, you know, put themselves up for election, because this also crystallizes who's really interested in this and who's willing to, you know, diligently review proposals and things like this, right? Yeah. I think Procula here also raised on the point that there should be community votes, which, yeah, I agree with it. I think it's also good if the community still has like you know, still has a, like you can have a committee and vote on something, but you can still have polls on super controversial things and still ask opinion of whole community what they think about this thing. This is what actually the Swiss government does. So you have like Swiss people elect the Swiss government, but Swiss government still puts like these polls on like bigger topics up for votes that the public can then vote on specifically. So it's not like that you only vote the representatives and they take all the decisions, which is what some democracies do, but then you also give the people like some individual referendums or votes on important topics that like need this like special attention by having everyone vote on. Like a popular example obviously is like the UK referendum to leave the EU, right? I mean, you know, you can say what you want about the outcome of the election and, you know, like how it maybe was done, like the whole process, but, you know, in the end it was a fair election and you had like a small majority that voted for this one outcome, and so then that was implemented, right? So, you know, so yeah, it's fair. Maybe you don't agree with the outcome, or maybe the outcome is not optimal, but, you know, if like you can also have different thresholds that you say, okay, result has to be more than 50%, way more than 50%, 60%, 70% or so, right? So you can like tweak thresholds to get like favorable results that you think are more fair? Like, for example, let's say you have game change proposals and you say only if we have more than 75% that vote for this, only then it gets implemented, right? You could say that. You could also say as long as it's a majority, then we're good to go, right? I mean, this is up for discovery, like how these rules should be exactly set up. But yeah, I think as long as like the whole committee has some stake in this and has some part in it, and I think it would be good. Yeah. So Mr. X says 20 to 25 smart members, experts is way better than a community vote. Let the smart people do their thing. This will lead to a good product. Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably pro and cons. I see more cons to this approach. Like, as I said, I think it's fine. Like, you know, it's better than nothing, right? So like these people, they have competencies, right? So it's not like that there are some randoms that have no clue, right? But like, for example, there's no representation of like actual developers, for example, right? So for example, Stubiax is not in this list, but he's an actual game designer, professional game designer. So like he has really good work ethic when it comes to game designs, and really analyzes things very well, and like from a logical and user experience standpoints, really has a great view on things. So, and having like different competencies, I think also matter a lot. So right now this one is, the competencies here are expert master players, so players who are very good, right, at the top level. Then Russian-Ukraine community, which is also very good players here, Thumbstep, Stars, and so on. 3vs3 Twilight Flame community, also good players, I expect. Team Game, also good players, I expect. FFA, also good players, I expect. I don't know Ninja, so I can't really say. I heard this one is good. Killtoy, I think good. Goldfish good, yeah. So like this list is purely selected by game skill and then different communities. DEF CON community is missing, but I guess that's included in this one here. Yeah, but there's like no, like for example, there's no representation for noobs and semis. There's no representation from developers. It's just pro players basically, right? So yeah, it's questionable. Like how representative it is for whole community. It probably is good, but I think it could be better if there was actually an election. And I would expect that if it was election, then many people would vote here for Xcal and Dominator and so on, right? That's what I expect, because they also have like a massive presence on YouTube, right? So people naturally can understand what these people are about, right? Maybe they know less about some other players here. That could be the case, right? But I don't know. I think it's possible to make an election. It just needs some organization for this to happen. And willingness, of course. I mean, if no one wants it, if I'm the only one who advocates for a democratic process, well, then I can shout as much as I want. It won't happen, but I think that's the right course of action. Like if I would feel much more confident in, putting my own, putting my votes towards like a committee decision board if I was actually backed by, voters. If you were just unelected, then yeah, I mean, you can still be confident, obviously, in your decisions, but it doesn't carry the same weight, I would say. Whereas if you know that like you were actually elected, then it carries weight, right? You are a representative of the people, right? So I think that's it's a logically it's the best step to have democratic election on the committee. And then obviously someone needs to figure out like their competencies and how the process should work, like what they can do, what they can't do, how long they're elected, can they be unelected, can they be kicked out, and things like this, right? Because it could be possible that some bad actor is being elected that just declines every proposal, right? And then I don't know, there needs to be some process to to remove bad actors, I guess, right? Yeah. I think I also, just before the video, I did ask ChatGPT to generate a image, because I would hope that once a committee is established and change proposals are brought forward, that then there is some visibility to this process, so that you have like some web page, and then you can submit the proposal, describe it, give it a title, and so on. And then, it would be up for voting for, I don't know, X amount of days, 60 days, let's say, yeah. And then visitors can upvote and downvote these things, and then the committee members, the elected ones, they can then vote on these things, like this generated mock-up here. Well, I just asked ChatGPT to generate it for some video game, and then it looks like it's for FPS here. Nerf the sniper rifle. Yeah. So you see Mike, Sarah, John, Lisa not happy of nerfing the sniper rifle. And also I asked it for 10 guys, and it put 9 guys in here. Look at that. Well, it didn't really follow my prompt. Okay, yeah, and then I think it would be cool if then like visitors could also downvote and upvote it, because then this gives the committee also a picture of what the committee actually wants for this, right? So if there's a big participation and you see a lot of downvotes by the community, then as a fair committee member, you might say, okay, maybe I am for this change, but I see a lot of community guys are against this change, then maybe I should follow what the community sentiment is on this and also decline it, instead of, going with what I think, right? So like a process like this, it would still give like the power to the committee. It's just an example. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. It's just like concept, right? But, things like this, like it would avoid abuse, like, even if there were bots just putting like ridiculous amount of votes, it wouldn't affect the outcome of the vote really. But if the votes were fair here, and then the committee members take that into account, the committee sentiment of a change, then I think that can yield to very good decision making, right? Obviously, then everyone needs to respond responsibly. Like there needs to be no botting here, no abuse. And the committee members, they need to act in the best interest of the people that they represent, which are the ones that vote here, but also the peers that they talk with, and in the communities that they are embedded. Yeah. So that's what I would hope from this kind of committee. And then once a change proposal is ratified, it then, exists in this list of changes, and then it can actually be implemented and can be, put live in a patch profile, right? And for everyone to play. And then obviously you could also make a new proposal where you say, okay, we actually don't like nerfing the sniper rifle. We want to get it back to what's the opposite of nerf? Buff the sniper rifle again, right? And then you could just revert it again. If you then figure out, the nerf was shit, maybe it needs to be revisited, maybe it needs to be reverted, right? All of this is certainly possible. Yeah. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on this topic. Yeah. Good. So let's get back to code. So per requests. So I last session I opened this change here for moving all the CPP macros into precompiled headers, which did not compile. There was a response by Zebi. Let's call him X07. It's a better name. X07, and starts with an X, so it must be a good name. Yeah, X07. And he said that the problem might be this resources being a static library with git info CPP. Only link resources. Okay, I was thinking about this. Maybe what we can do is we move the precompiled headers into core utility instead, because this header is actually in the utility. So let me try that. So we open Visual Studio Code. I would say I make a new branch here. Includes 2. Then we go here and we do a reset current branch to here. Okay. Then we take all these guys here. Good. So my thinking is that maybe we add it to core utility. Core utility. Add library. Core utility. Where is it? Yeah, okay, so we add it here. So we have core I always, yeah. And we take that and we take this guy here and we move that to core utility instead. Utility. There we go. And we add this here. And then, oh shit. And then we put that here, and then we revert these changes here. Reset that. Then we reset this. And this. And this. Core utility GI always. We reset this. Reset this. take that and that. You reset that. Then we take that. Yeah. Yeah. We reset that. Now we keep that. Game engine. We need to put this one back. Okay, take that and that. Good, and the rest is up for debate. Yeah. Core utility. So let's reset this guy. Then W dump. Take this guy. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah, let's see how far this gets. Yeah. Good. Then let's reload. Good. Precompiled header. Okay, let's see if that runs. Compilation. Good. While we wait for the compilation, let's take a look at this guy here. Bug fix projectile. Fix out of bounds access bug and dump projectile, which may cause mismatches. Aha. Tank projectiles cause mismatch. Sufficiently high weapon speeds expose an out of bounds access bug for dump projectile, which is a reason for non-deterministic behavior. Aha. This fixes the bug properly in no retail mode and makes behavior deterministic for patch clients in retail mode. Okay, cool. I like to hear that. Let's take a look at this. Retail compatible CSC, flight curve, get segment points. Previous pause. Current pause. Flight path 1. Yeah. Check the weapon speed value. Check vector size before accessing the second element. If there's only one element, set current position to fixed garbage value. In a poor attempt to imitate retail behavior. Using a fixed value means that the behavior is deterministic for patch class. Aha. I see. Current pause. And not a number is a good value? Why did you pick NIN minus NaN? That I don't understand. Because it's still used on here. Not a number minus previous pos, that sounds weird. Current flight path step. Current flight path step. Detonate. Prevent out of bounds. It's fine, I guess. Flight curve. So, 2 failed. Okay, so it still fails. Let's see what failed exactly. Okay, it's still the particle editors. core config. So the only thing we did now is adding this guy to the core config, core utility interface. That's it. Data main already defined. Data will live. No. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. I mean, it was a promising endeavor to just put it into. But now we have this core I always here, but this is. Let's okay, let's revert this here as well. Yeah. Okay, let's just do that. Let's see. Good. Yeah, so what I don't like about this change is that he's touching 3 different places. So is that really necessary? Maybe it is. I didn't fully understand the problem yet. So it's about these flight segments, and I guess if it's just one segment, then it's too short. Flight path segments 0. It needs 2 segments. Okay. Okay. Get segment points. I think this needs some comments here. Say add bug fix. Okay, so this is a legacy behavior, and this is the new bug fix, which says the path has to be larger equal this. Otherwise, we set the segments to 0 and clear this. And then what happens afterwards? Returns true. calc flight path. Okay. Okay, I don't know what then happens, but I assume everything is okay afterwards. Yeah, flight path. Size is smaller equal 1. I see. So this is then the out condition here. So then detonate it immediately. Okay, that's fair. So the flight path is not long enough, so it detonates immediately. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. And here we have current path. Yeah. Code 3D, code path. I would say it's better. Okay. Okay, I think I understand the change. It makes sense, yeah. It looks good in principle, I would say. I don't know about this none position here, why this is good. Maybe just do copos equals code 3D. I think it's fine. He gave it a name, so I think that's good. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know about this none thing, minus none even. Here should be a comment, but otherwise it seems plausible. Yeah. Yeah. So basically the problem was that if you have dump projectile weapon, which is tanks, tank shells, and they have really a high speed velocity, then they need a flight path. Yeah, which is this one here, the flight path. And the flight path has segments, so every logic frame, it will reach one of these segments. Yeah. And if there was only one segment, then this would go out of bounds here and reach beyond the flight path. Yeah. Here, normalize, flight step, set position, flight step, else. There's one question I have though. Detonate target point. Okay. Let me see that code here. Let's search for this. Okay, it still fails to compile, by the way. Detonate. Detonate. Destroy object. Handle projectile detonation. Okay, let me ask a question. Flight step. So what is flight step? What is that? Flight step is flight step update. Flight step. Let me search for it. Flight step. Aha. Okay, it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so it puts it at that position. Okay, so it will have a valid position, but not a valid orientation. I see. This is valid. Well, can it have 1 point? Start at 1 point. I assume this means one point. A single segment only is not possible. Looks logical in principle. Well, it failed to compile. Okay, so regarding this change here, we still have compilation error, still particle. Yeah, shame. Let me submit that anyway. I checked if eliminating resources from the equation from linking would solve it, but it does not. To do it, I simply moved reverted the always lip changes and moved the precompiled, moved cp macros .h as precompile, as precomp header to core utility, where it is a better fit anyway. Not push to this branch. It's caused by something else. Yeah. Good. Then what else do we have? Add Linux build support scripts. What is this? Add convenience script for Linux users to build using Docker. Scripts wrapper for the existing Docker infrastructure. Install the game. Install build files to existing game with mockup, restore, update, git ignore. Okay. Update README with quick start build section. Docker base build script for Linux. Script to install build files to existing game. Add tmp claude.md. Okay. To ignore path. claude.md. Add quick start build section for Windows and Linux. That's kind of inside detected. Okay, blah blah. Add Linux build guide with convenient scripts. Okay, let's see. User specific. Okay, cool. Windows, blah blah blah. Quick start. Linux via Docker. Okay, cool. And then some script. I have no idea what's going on here. It doesn't really matter. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, I guess. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Quick start guide. And then it links here to the build guides. Yep. And then this one is now a user, up to the user to place these files. Okay, cool. TMP. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Then feed build. Let me see our guidelines here. Our keyword guidelines. Contributing guidelines. So we have a add build. No, here build. Yeah, then I will put it into build, not feed. Build platform. That's a Linux. Linux. Okay. Then I will add labels, platform, build, documentation. Okay, then I will add this to milestone. I think there's somewhere platform. No. Linux support, yeah, we do have that. Looks good to me. Idea. I did not study the scripts, but if it works, then it works. If it works, then if it works, let's say if it works for the author, then let's Good enough. Good. He also made a change for the wiki. By the way, we need to click on the button down here, approve this, okay. Okay, blah, 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 build on Linux, okay. This guide covers building generals there are on Linux using Docker, blah, blah, blah. Repository includes convenient script that automate Docker build process. Build Linux, okay. Docker, install Docker, blah, git, wine, optional, okay. Ensure Docker is running, and the user has permissions, blah, blah, okay. Scripts, blah, 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 okay, blah. 0 hour generals share DLLs. Blah, blah. Okay. Okay, that's weird here. What's going on with this pass here? Command. This pass looks wild. Is this correct? Is this example representative? It looks a really weird pass here. Program / space files / EA, another slash. What is this pass? That looks wild. Same here. Twice in this change, in this file. Blah, 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 for best results, wine config, blah, troubleshooting Docker permission, user mods, okay, build directory not found, blah, 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 game not found, blah, blah, wine errors, game crashes, try different wine versions, wine tricks, blah, 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 manual Docker build. Blah, blah. Blah, okay, blah, blah. See also MSV6 on Docker, build configuration, build guides. Okay, cool. Then I only have this comment. Looks reasonable on. Looks reasonable on at a glance. Just the sample path looks strange. Strange to me. Okay. Good. Then let's see what else we have here. This one is a draft. Decouple scripted audio events from CRC computation. What is the state of this one? Linked an issue that may be closed by this pull request. Okay, looks like he will make another pass on this. Some to-dos, yeah, okay. Allow exit during match outcome. that, or never hidden at all, I would say. If mouse visibility is difficult to control with just Boolean flag, then perhaps it requires flags similar to how we do for the cursor capture. It's just a singer. Perhaps it requires flags similar to how we do it for the cursor capture. Let me give an example. Cursor capture. No, it's not that. What was it? No, I think it's something else. Hold on. Here, block reason, this one. See. The core principle of using flags is that multiple systems can ask for hiding a cursor, but do not conflict with each other. Do it for the cursor capture. Using the flags. Good. What is this here? Update crash message. Oof. Oof. What is this here? Crash error message changed again. M. Lorenzen made this message box modal. Okay. Oh wow. Wow, you put a huge. What is this? Why is there so much code now? What is this? Crash info path. What? User path, okay. Release crash file name. Crash dump dir. What's the difference between crash info path and crash dump dir? Guess some info and there's some dump. Crash location. Stack. Crash location. What? Okay, we'll be right back. Good, we're back in action. So, wow, then we have a big buff here, yeah. RTS debug. 3340 issue. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this prompt is wise. Might get bombarded with messages. maybe there should be a separate repository where users can spam reports. So I do not think this prompt is wise. We might get bombarded with messages. Chance we like to have more keep more quality reports by developers, for developers. That's my opinion on this. I do like that right now, like the issues that we have in general game code, they're mostly of good quality, and then it's easier to work with. But if we get like bombarded with player reports, always the same things and some unrelated noob issues, say I installed this on Ubuntu version 12.6 and I tried to run it with this emulator and it doesn't work. Help! My mouse doesn't move. I've crashed here. I launched this mod and like all these reports, and then you have to filter all this shit, and it just like creates a mess. So I think this is good for some other repository that's specifically made for this, then I think it's fine. Then you can just report the issues in there, and maybe we see some good reports that are actionable, but they are not in the main repository, I would say. Yeah. The game encountered critical error, needs to close. Why are there so many texts now? I don't understand. If define RTS debug, else. Hä? Okay. Why do we have now 1, 2, 3, 4 messages? The hell? That's... Let me add a comment here. There are now 4 error messages here in code. Why is this so complicated? Can the code be simplified and reduced to one error message to rule them all? Yeah, I don't understand why this is necessary. And then there's more down here. Oh boy. Okay, here's just one. Oh. Uh-huh. Maybe the debug and release crash messages, message boxes can reuse the same code, or do they need to be separate? Yeah, I think it's a bit unfortunate that like we have two types of crashes: debug crash and release crash, and then release crash is handled separately from the debug crash. But why? Can't we just have like one message that is used for both? This to me looks way too complicated. It's way too complicated. And then there's some search here, find first line. What is this? Extract first line of stack trace. Okay, but then this should maybe be in a separate function here. This perhaps the stack trace stuff can be moved into a separate function to clean this up. Yeah, I would assume that to have like a function call get stack trace and then it returns a string or writes into a buffer. For example, crash location 512 write stack trace stack is this a stack or not? I don't know. Stack, write stack trace. Is it call stack? I don't know what it is. Last ever dump. Right, call stack. Let's call it just call it. I don't know. Call stack. 512 seems a little bit short though. Array size. Call stack. Location. Okay, that's my thought so far on this update crash message. Okay. Out of bounds access bug. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Good. Then let me get back to this guy here. Or before we go to this, or we look one more time into this one. Oh, but I don't have ideas here for this. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that shit. It fails to compile, it fails to link, not compile. Huh. Fatal error. Let's think about this. DLL main already defined. Let's look at particle editor. So particle editor. Yeah. So it's a shared library. It includes core config and GI always. GI always. Already includes core utility. Yeah. GI always. Particle editor. Core config remove just here. Okay. So what if we, let's say we remove this guy. Particle editor. Shared. ZE always. Let's remove that as well. Save all. Okay, let's see if that makes any difference. I expect not. Yeah. Good. Yeah, so I will close this here and that. Good. So maybe we spend a few more minutes with the CPP macros thing. If we still cannot figure it out, then put that on hold. But we need to figure this out because it's blocking the null refactor. And the null refactor we really would like to get finalized, because yeah, it touches so many files. It would be better to get it done sooner than later. So, it still fails. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good, so that didn't change anything. What else can we try? Very strange. Oh, but that looks different now. What is this? Precompiled object not linked in. Oh. Hint on symbols that are defined and could potentially match. What the hell is that? Okay, that's a different error. Huh. Precompiled object not linked in. Huh. Fatal error. Link. Fatal error. Okay, I have no idea what this now is. It's just some cryptic numbers here. What is this? Why is this so wild here? My gosh. This linker, man. Is this the only shared library that we have? Debug window is also shared. But that one has a lot less dependencies. Yeah. Also has MFC. Yeah. Why is it only the particle editor that fails? No, I don't think this makes much sense. Why did he put it then? I thought I could delay a mismatch by setting these values, but it's probably a silly endeavor trying to get right indeterminate values to imitate retail behavior. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Prevent out of bounds, current pass. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, then I will approve it. What number did you choose now? Pref pause. Ah, okay, the same position. So a deer will be oof. Well, I don't agree with this here. This does not look healthy. It would mean Cordia is 0, 0. It would mean Cordia becomes. Oh no, he refreshed here. This does not look healthy. When Cordia becomes 0, 0, 0, which then will give bad numbers or normalize. Maybe simply set Cordia to I don't know 1, 0, 0. So that's forward vector x. That's so 0, 0, 1, 0. Points y direction, so it looks in y direction. Well, normalize, I think I will division by 0 then, right? Let's see. Normalize. Let's go to vector. What type is coord 3? Coord 3D. Coord 3D. Normalize. Is it that? No, it's vector 3. Vector 3 normalize. Length not 0. Okay, so it won't actually do anything. So direction will be 0. Cordia will be 0. becomes 0, which is not a valid direction. Which is not a valid direction. Okay, we'll resolve this. Okay. Okay, this one still fails to compile. I have no idea what to do here. It doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is here. Good, let me go to the other branch here. This guy. Optimization is needed to make oversized turn faster. Let me ask Batista, can you perhaps try to figure out how to fix with the power of the cloud? Just give the problem to someone else. Fixed it. Yeah. Good. So let me go to this guy here again. Reduce cost of radar pixel draw and partition manager. Refresh route for local player. Here. Let's change branch. Let's remove all the extra thingies here. Remove generals, extras, blah, debug, no. Remove profile. Remove extras, tools, there we go. Generate. Okay, and then we change branch to optimize radar refresh to. Okay. Then we take that. Good, then here, so he wants to have this one changed here, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Right. Okay, then we say here simplify rect init. Okay, and then then this change here. Maybe we can incorporate this as well. So what did it do? Lock, unlock. It puts single functions for that. Okay. But it already has that anyway. It already has a lock function. What is this? Lock, unlock. SurfaceClass. This is SurfaceClass. So we have a lock and unlock here. Huh? And then we have another. Oh, they renamed. Oh my gosh. It's named un with capital lock. There's a capital L. And this one is with lowercase l. Oh, no way. Okay, I don't like that. Especially because this one is essentially the same as this one, except for adding the zero memory, which is not really necessary. So this one, lock rect, is locked. Why does it say that it's locked? Is this used? It's unused. No. Lock. Lock rect. Lock rect. Null PTR 0. Lock rect pitch. Lock rect. Lock rect. Where's lock rect here? Where's that from? Is that a member? Oh, it's a member. Huh. Haha. Okay. SurfaceClass. Not sure if I'm a fan of that, but then it can access this pitch here. Yeah. Look like pitch. Yeah. I would say that we implement this differently. We give it draw pixel. Correct. Unlock correct. Draw pixel. XY color. I think what we do instead is we in draw pixel also draw H line. So here we pass log-rect. Do we have an abstraction for this log-rect? I think we don't. Then we have to pass voids p-bits and int pitch. Int pitch. Okay, and then get pixel. What does this do? It also has a log-rect here. Oh, it could be a bigger change. So how many log-rects do we have in here? Let me see. Log-rects. Draw pixel has log-rects. Draw H-line. And clear. Copy. Create copy. Find BB. Bounding box. Get pixel. Yeah. Okay. So what I think we should do. Okay, somehow it has troubles finding that pixel here. So p-bits pitch, and then by default we pass null here. Correct. Service class. Void. Or we just make it a requirement that we can't pass null here. You have to pass pitch and that. Maybe that's more sane. And pitch. Well, convert pixel. Is this function used? Seems it's not used at all. Yeah, I don't see any call to that. Get pixel, no. Seems unused. Okay, maybe we don't care about it then for now. Is this one used? Draw H line. That one is used in radar. To be used infrequently. Okay, let's remove this for now. draws a pixel. So draw a pixel. XY, p bits, pitch, XY. Yeah, so this one then also says plus y, x plus y times pitch. Yeah. X. X. We go here. Good. Was it plus or times? Plus, yeah. Good. So did you use the cost unsigned char? Okay. So the costs unsigned char y times pitch I think we can pass it as just a number. Don't need to pass it as a pointer. Pitch. Okay. And then, so here he simply did that. Okay. Good, then we remove this here. And then here we say that. Then here we do a reinterpret casts unsigned shorts. plus x. This is plus x. Do we xy times pitch, so drop pixel xy. Yeah, I think this is right. Break. And then the same here, but for unsigned int. X equals this. And this one is color. Color is already in. Okay, so there's no need to cast here. Already color. Okay, and this here we can rename to just PTR maybe. If Visual Studio wouldn't hang here so terribly. Oh boy. The only problem is... No, there is no problem. No, I think this is fine. Good, then we can remove all of this here. Oh boy, my machine cannot handle this. So we don't do log rect anymore. We have p bits here. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, cool. Then get bytes per pixel format. Color. Maybe draw pixel. We also make bytes per pixel. Bytes per pixel. Draw pixel. It would be nice if this also wasn't in this function here. Description. Surface description. How about we do void get bytes per pixel. Bytes per pixel, and then we have that. And I will simply do surface disk. And then get description. And then get bytes per pixel, return unsigned int. And then this one simply returns get bytes per pixel, and there we pass surface disk dot format. Which is this function here? No. This one? No. Huh? Okay, looks like it has trouble to find the other function now. Why? Yeah, it somehow cannot find this one anymore here. That's weird. Why is that? This one is shadowed now. Maybe we need to tell that it exists. Extern. Too many arguments. Maybe we do like this. Aha, there we go. Then we can also remove this again, I guess. Okay, then we have that. Get the get bytes per pixel count. Okay, and then basically we remove this here, and then we expect that the caller also passes us a unsigned int bytes per pixel. Here and here. Then here, let's do some of this. Draw H line. Good. Then here we have bytes per pixel. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, and then here in draw line we basically do the same. The assumption here is that whenever a pixel has alpha, it's in the MSB. Why don't we just write it in a different way? We say plus y. How about we write it like so? Specify rects. So how about here we say maybe I may revert this again. So here we do the same. Let's rename this to PTR. Take this. Let's comment all of this bullshit here and this. And then we say PTR pitch that, and then bytes per pixel. And so this one does this increment there. Okay. X. Plus plus. Maybe here we need to do x plus equal 1, x plus equal 2, Comes a bit hard to read though, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, ba, 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 ba. Okay, so I'll do like this, and then X is that, and then X is incremented. Oh, but that doesn't look right. I think this should just be X plus plus, yeah. Plus plus X. Then I think we can actually remove that. I think this is correct, if I'm not mistaken. Is monochrome. Huh. Okay. SD. Get bytes per pixel. My gosh, how much is that? Okay. Good. Is that all? Draw H line. Okay. Good. Then good. I think that makes sense. And then we would now need to find our calls to draw pixel. Maybe we should also rename the function. Draw H line. Okay, then we search for all draw pixels. Then we do that. Okay, and then we do here a surface void p bits and pitch int pitch surface block pitch Okay, and then p-bits. And then at the bottom here, surface unlock. Surface unlock. Okay, and then we pass here. We also need surface. Let's do. Let's do unsigned int bytes per pixel equals surface get bytes per pixel. Then here we pass bytes per pixel, p bits, and pitch. Then we pass that to all these guys here. Then we do the same here. Texture height, texture width, okay. Then here we do that, p bits, lock. Then here we do surface unlock at the end. Surface unlock. And then we also pass this shit here to here. There we can do game color, returns color equals this. Yeah. Pixel color. This, and this. Pixel color, and then we put that in here. Okay, makes it a bit easier to look at, I would say. And then what else? Here we have some more, but this one is commented out. Archive. Save for later. Okay, I don't think we care about this. What do we? I think we can just copy the code there anyway. So we take this here. Okay, I'm not sure where the loop would start here. Surface. Maybe here. Right. Just copy paste it here. Okay, and then also have a surface unlock here. Okay, anything else? We have some more here. Yeah, draw pixel. Okay, then we need to copy paste this stuff here. I think we can simplify this a bit more by doing this here. Pitch. Bits. Bytes per pixel, yeah. Bytes per pixel. P-bits and pitch. Let's just copy paste this whole thing here. Good. Then we have that, and then we still need to unlock as well. Hold on. Surface unlock. Unlock. Let's not make mistakes here. Eh? Good. And then good. This one doesn't unlock. Then let's go back here one time. Then here we can also say this equals that, and then we move this one down, and then we do the same here. Take this, put this there, this, and this, boom, and the same here, wherever that is there. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. We can also make this here const, by the way. Yeah. Const. Const. Okay. Here we have another draw pixel. Yeah. It's also commented out. Yeah, let's ignore this here. Then I tried making this faster by pulling out all the code inside draw pixel and locking only once, but it made absolutely no performance difference. And sampling and interpolating algorithm for generating pretty looking terrain and water for the radar is just, well, expensive. Draw the pixel for the train at this point. Note that because of the orientation of our world, we draw it with positive y in the up direction. I tried making this faster by pulling out all the code inside draw pixel, but it made absolutely no performance difference. Well, we can remove this comment now, I would say. Okay, anything else? Draw pixel. Still need to fix that. Okay, and draw H line. Okay. Then we also still need to fix up draw H line. which is just called once. Okay, that is convenient. Surface, make game color, okay. Then here we do surface unlock. Okay, then here we do surface lock. Int pitch void p bits. Let's just write it, yeah. Log pitch unsigned const unsigned int bytes per pixel surface get bytes per pixel. Okay, then the color we move down here, make it const color bytes per pixel p bits pitch. Boom. There we go. Clear shroud. I need water. Good. So, good. Then I think that's it. Let's see if it compiles. No. And while we wait, let's take a look at the GitHub if there's something interesting new here. Steam doesn't install binaries in PFX, but it puts them in there. Install to game PFX. Steam doesn't install binaries in PFX. I don't even know what that is. Good. Let's look at this one again. Previous pass. Current year, previous. Normalize. Okay. Okay. I guess that makes sense. So now it will always look forward. Yeah. Makes sense. Fixed out of bounds access. Fix out of bounds bug in dump project tile. projectile behavior. Which causes mismatch with high velocity, very high velocity, which can cause mismatch with high velocity weapons, high speeds weapons, very high speed weapons. Small hit distances. Which causes mismatch with very high speed weapons at small hit distances. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think this change makes a lot of sense to me. Needs to be replicated. This doesn't look healthy. It would mean currently it becomes 0. No, it's not a valid direction. It shows to do this with the position values. That's okay. I also set the previous position, so that's why it doesn't have to be inferred. Okay. Looks okay. Looks correct to me. Code looks correct to me. So this is also gen ZH. Good. Then let's see. Okay, we have some compile errors here, yeah. Okay. By the way, the make game color, it does return color, doesn't it? It returns color, which is integer. Then let's make this a const color. Yeah. So what has failed here? Let's see. Our drop pixel. Oh, we have one more guy here. This is expensive. Yeah. Right. Set shroud level. Set shroud level. Shroud X, shroud Y. Okay, but anyway, we have to do the same thing here. I don't know why I missed this one here. That's curious. Okay, so basically we take the same shit here. This one. And we put that here. And then we do here surface unlock. There we go. Surface unlock. All right, that's it. All right, let's see. It's still expensive because this one is only a subset, right? This stuff here. Now here, draw pixel, surface draw pixel. You know what? I think row X column. We can probably by the way, we're missing this one here, bytes per pixel, pipets, pitch. Let's do also here const color. Color equals that. So I think we can do the same thing here. Here. The only difference is that we don't pixel size, surface bits. Surface pitch. Where's the surface? Yeah, shroud surface. And then here we can also do surface, shroud surface, get bytes per pixel, that. XY color, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then we should be able to get rid of this thing here. Okay. So basically these do the same now, except that this one will do the surface lock here and this one won't. Okay. Okay, cool. That works. I would say we make this a separate change actually. Yeah, we don't put this into the same because it's more complexity on top of the other change. Yeah. Okay, that compiles. That's great. Then let's test that. If it works. Good. I will remove this here. Good. Let's see if it looks good. China, yeah, why not? Let's get the radar. Okay. We see lines on the radar. We see dots on the radar. Okay, cool. I think that looks good. Good. Then I think that's good enough. Yeah, I don't know what else to test there. Okay, but this is quite a bit of a change, right? So, yeah. Okay, let's clean up here. So, X, blah, 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 X, Y, blah, blah, blah. Okay, draw pixel. Then we remove that. Okay, let's go to SurfaceClass. SurfaceClass. Then here we remove all this garbage down here. So this looks pretty simple now. Maybe we put it back to how we tried to do it originally. Very compact. Yeah, it looks a bit unholy. But I don't know. I prefer the switch cases to be compact if they can be compact. Okay. Draw H line. Good. I think that's fine. Then now the question is, do we still want to optimize get pixel? It's not used, so we wouldn't need to. Yeah. Get pixel. X, Y. Yeah. X, Y, 12. Why does it do clamping here? GP. Get pixel. Yeah. It would make sense that we apply the same treatment here. This function is currently unused. Yeah. This one also looks unholy here. Who's this HY guy? Hi. Hi. Hector Ye. Aha. Hector Ye. Aha. Aha. Okay, now we know who HY is. Hector. Hector. Okay. Yeah. Convert fixer. Convert fixer. So basically we would do the same here. P bits convert pixel. Yeah. So get pixel XY, and then we do void p bits and in pitch. Then we would remove all of this here except for this here, and then and then we would do this ptr equals static cast that p bits plus y times pitch plus x. Like this. Okay, that should do. Then here we add a history. So this is 10.01. They use 1, 10, 20, 25. Super hackers. Edits, bits and pitch to arguments lists for performance reason. History. Okay, I don't know why he has created it twice. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Let's remove that. Okay. Does that make sense? Oh. Oh, by the way, I see there's a mistake here. Yeah, there's a mistake here. This bytes per pixel is meant to be here. Uh-huh. Good. Is there anything else that we need to do? Get fixer. Maybe we can put this here. Good. So, regarding this one here, why don't we plus y times pitch, y times pitch? Is this even correct here? This one here looks a bit suspicious, doesn't it? Times pitch. I find it a bit suspicious that here we had this here. Is that correct? I'm a bit confused right now. This might be wrong. But we also did it before like that. I'm confused by this here. Like, why is this correct? Plus y. Like, this should be done also after it's this type, right? I find this a bit suspicious. How is this correct? Let me see again what it did before. Let me search for p-bits and see how other call sites deal with it. Copy level to surface. Okay, I'm a bit confused right now. Like this doesn't look correct to me. Like I would expect. Let me so this is what we currently have. Let me make a copy of it. I expect the correct approach would be to say here p bits plus y plus x. I'm not sure, but pitch is in bytes. Ah, yeah, okay, pitch is in bytes. Ah, I see. No, I think then it makes sense. Yeah, let me double check with. Let me double check with ChatGPT. I think it's actually correct. Yeah. We already have ChatGPT open here. Let's create a new chat. Given is the following function correct for a locked surface to write pixels, locked direct X surface to write pixels on. So following function correct for locked. Short answer, it's mostly correct, but only under some assumptions. For locked surface, row y address, this, yeah, X, row uses pitch correctly, handles 1, 2, 3, 4 bytes, avoids multiplying X times this manually by relying on type pointer arithmetic, also fine. So logically, addressing is correct. Bytes per pixel 3 is not supported. Yeah. This is first can, yeah, but alignment assumptions, when you do that, this assumes PTR is properly aligned. This could crash. Oops. Color is written verbatim. surface format exactly matches the way color is packed. Yeah, okay, I know about this issue. No bounce checking, you guarantee elsewhere. Yeah, that's fine. Pixel. Okay. Should use memcopy. Bytes per pixel. X times bytes per pixel. Plus X times bytes per pixel. How would that look with memcopy? Copies the lowest bytes per pixel bytes of color. Little endian packed color. If you want to avoid even relying on endianness. Copy color. Yeah. Color. So we would then also need to convert the color. Color. I like this better here. This looks very compact. So we'll do that. DST. Memcopy. Plus X times bytes per pixel. Memcopy DST. Color. Let me ask if we can do the same here. Can we use memcopy also for this function? Yes, you can use here as well. And in fact, there are two sensible memcopy base approaches. Let's see. Okay, let's take that. So we have a row. Okay. P bits. Okay. Memcopy. Okay. I like that. Bytes per pixel. Okay. And then, yeah, color DST row X times this color. Okay. Copy. This is perfectly fine if this function isn't on a hot path. Copy is especially good here. Yeah, let's keep it simple here. I like this. This looks simple here if it does the same thing. It looks good, I would say. Yeah. Okay. Then let's see if that still works. And then bytes per pixel. Bytes per pixel. What's the time? 3 hours 20. I think it would be good to take a break here at some point. Yeah. It doesn't have this particular OOB bug, but I'm not entirely sure why the code was updated for 0 hour or how the behavior changed. Okay, how about we take a break here and we continue this journey in the next session. Let's test it one time quick if things still look normal. And then we still need to take a look at maybe there could be also another change dealing with the color. Okay, but the radar looks fine. I see pixels. Okay, cool, that works. Then good. Then I think this is already in a good state. And then the only thing missing now is so color. The problem is it's a 4-byte color, ARGB color, which is then written into like unrelated color. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like if bytes per pixel is 1, but we get a 4-byte pixel color, then it won't fit. So that's stupid. So yeah, I'll look into that next session. Good. Then I will take a break here. I wish you a great day or night until next time. Goodbye.